Did you get the notification?
Yeah.
All right, so we're live on YouTube. Now gonna go live on TikTok in three, two, one. All right, we are good. Yeah, we're good. All right, so uh, another live. I'm gonna recap the Packers win against the Rams, Week 5 of the NFL. Here with Andrew again. So yeah, we got the win. I guess we can say we're both happy about it.
A win's a win, man.
Yeah. We'll get to the. I really don't have too much to critique, and honestly, I don't like to critique when we got the win. I think we should all be happy with the win, especially. I mean, there was some things that we looked ugly at, but I mean, we could get into that. But first things first, I want to jump into Jordan Love. So he did have an ugly pick six. I think, man, he looked like Will Levis on that play.
Well, when I know you had said he looks like more Brett Favre than Aaron Rodgers, that was a Brett Favre play. There was a thing on Twitter where Brett Favre almost did something similar, and I was like, oh, that's Brett Favre. I mean, Brett Favre 2.0 right there.
100%.
So yeah, Jordan Love, man, that
can't happen.
I don't know what it is. I think, and I wanted to go into this live saying we got to stop criticizing Matt LaFleur. We got to stop criticizing Jeff Hafley. At some point, the players got to play. Got to play.
Yeah, 100%. I am not criticizing LaFleur or Hafley on anything this game.
Yeah.
I think, all players, 100% on this game. If we are going to criticize the Packers this game at all, 100% all the players. I think you heard Romo say it that Romo said it for a little bit. He's like, dude, they're not running the ball, and
I wasn't listening to the broadcast, so I didn't. I mean,
well, they were like,
I had a thing on YouTube, so I wasn't watching the broadcast, so I don't know what they said, but for sure, Matt looked like I was at the first half. I was like, what are we doing, Matt? We got to run the ball. Like, why are we not running the ball? Mm-hmm. Then I thought about it. At the same time, it's like players got to play. Jordan Love has to make some of these throws that he missed. Receivers got to catch the balls that they missed. Like, there was multiple times where Jordan definitely missed throws, but also Dontavian Wicks missed like 2 or 3 passes again this week.
Yep.
It's like at some point, it's like we gotta make or we gotta make plays. As far as the rushing attempt, the rushing yards, the attempts or whatever, I feel like our offensive line didn't block or rush block too well the first half. Against a team that was bad or get bad against the rush.
Yeah, I want to touch on the offensive line real fast. I think this is the worst game they had. It wasn't terrible though, but I mean, how many sacks did they get on Love today? I can't. I don't know if I can pull that up. Actually, yeah, I can. Maybe you might get there faster than me though.
I'm looking.
So it looks like they got.
Yeah, I can't find it on here.
I got it. So it looks like they got 2 sacks today. That if we both agree that the Eagles have a good offensive line, the Eagles average around 2 sacks a game. So I guess it's not that bad. It looked bad though.
Well, I mostly blame like the run blocking more than anything on that because we were saying run the ball, but I feel like they were getting penetration so easy in the backfield where Josh Jacobs and Emmanuel Wilson both were having to make people miss in the backfield when the Rams, I want to say, is the worst rushing team in the NFL right now.
Yeah, they were ranked dead last.
Yeah, so it's like that was kind of concerning. So if I'm gonna blame the offensive line on anything, it would be that.
Yeah. Josh Jacobs, 19 carries for 73 yards. With as bad as the offensive line looked, that's still 3.8. I personally think anything over 4 is good. But just the fact that he's right under 4 when the O-line didn't have a great game, I think you gotta.
A lot of that came in the second half, though. We gotta admit, a lot of that came in the second half.
Yeah, a lot of. I think it's good job on Jacobs' part. I think that's what separates Jacobs from Jones. I think Jacobs can make stuff happen out of nothing, and I think I'm not saying Jones couldn't do that, but I'm just saying we didn't see too much of that, and I feel like we're seeing a lot of Josh Jacobs, like just making people miss, and getting his. That's why, like, I really had Jacobs. not necessarily going off, but I did have him carrying a lot of balls this game. Jordan Love threw the ball 26 times. Jacobs ran it 19. I think that's very good. I would like to see that every game.
Yeah, again, I would too, but I would like it earlier. I feel like we were going too deep too early, and this is kind of where I was at first criticizing Matt for like what kind of play calls are we calling, but at the same time, you got to criticize Love. We got to get Love in rhythm first. So these short, like almost what St. Louis, LA was doing with the Rams with Matthew Stafford, dink and dunk. Let's get some first down, some short yardage stuff first before we start trying to take the chunk plays, right?
Yeah. And I want to say towards that end of the game, I think it was 24-19. Love had Wicks wide open and he underthrew him. Like I was watching that. Do you know what play I'm talking about? It was third down. I think.
Oh yeah.
So he had Wicks wide open, but he underthrew him, and the defender was able to make a play on it. But me personally, Wicks is open, and that's just a bad throw. Like if you lead him, that's a touchdown. And once again, I'm looking at Love throw that ball. It was on his back foot. So I'm like, man, like that's wide open.
Wait, you're talking the one that he went down it was third down. He went down the sideline.
Yeah.
It was underthrown, but Wicks got to catch that. That went right through his hands.
But the defender was there. I don't think that was an easy catch.
It wasn't, but you got to catch that. The ball, like if you watch the replay from the end zone, the ball literally went right through. Like he had his hands up like this, right through his hands.
But I'm saying a better throw
in stride. Oh yeah, touchdown all the way. I completely agree. And that's why I say players got to play. Jordan's got to make better throws. Receivers got to catch the balls.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, the first thing I wrote down, Love looked like Levis in that first half. Well, not the whole first half. On that pick six, he looked like Levis. Now, I do want to talk a little bit on the first half because, on the last live, I told you the thing that concerns me about the Packers is you really don't have to play a full game to beat them. You just got to play like 2 quarters and you can beat them. Well, I feel like this game, aside from that first half touchdown, I think the rest of our drives, except the last one where we went down to kick a field goal, I think the field goal and the touchdown were our only drives that we didn't go 3 and out. I think that's not a good look either. However, I think we were very fortunate to be only down 3 at the half. And then, of course, we turned it on in the second half. But, it goes back to one of my concerns. We only playing one half of football right now. We saw a lot of that last year. Luckily, LaFleur has owned McVay, and I think he's 5-0 against him now.
We haven't won in LA since like the 60s or something like that. That's what they were saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what do you think on Love? I want to know what you think a little about Love, because I think if we are going to get more of Favre out of him, I think that's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a problem.
The way I see it, Andrew, if he was just like his talent, his play with Malik Willis's discipline, dude, the Packers would be unstoppable.
Yeah, but I think again, I hate to say going back to play calling, but I think they were a little bit more similar on the play call. Like Malik didn't take shots downfield, where I think Jordan's going to do that.
Yeah.
At some point, we're gonna have to. If people are not going to get open underneath, we're going to have to eventually do that, right? Yeah. Now, if I'm saying Favre did go to 2 Super Bowls, 1-1. So we're doing that. Right?
He went more Super Bowl.
I should have more. Aaron should have probably had more, but neither here nor there. But
yeah, I honestly think Roger. We do have a guest, so I'm going to let him speak. But I want to say a couple things. I think Rodgers was a far better quarterback than Brett, but when Brett takes you to 2 Super Bowls and Rodgers only takes you to 1, it's very hard to make sense of that, especially when Rodgers had better teams than what Brett Favre had.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Rodgers was a better quarterback than Brett Favre, but
yeah. Yeah. All right, what's up, WTD?
Yes.
Oh.
If you look at his first season starting last year, I don't know exactly the stats, but as far as I'm aware, they're pretty comparable to to Rodgers' first year stats as a starter.
Yeah.
And we saw a lot of shakiness from him in the first half of the season. A lot of stupid plays, stupid throws, but he really picked up in the second half there. And I think, he's been out 2 games this season. I really think it might be a little bit too late to. I've seen a lot of people say like, oh, he's a fraud. He robbed us, whatever. Put Malik in, even, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
But if you look at how he picked up in the second half of this game, he showed up and he did what he was supposed to. And when he's pressured, and he was pressured a lot today, I don't know where our O-line was for at least the first half. When you look at him, he looks like just a young quarterback. He's pressured, he makes stupid decisions, and obviously that has to be ironed out if we're going to, be a serious contender for Super Bowls this year and the next, few years with Love. But honestly, I think, with this win in LA, I would have really liked to see Jordan Love play a little bit more football. And I'm glad that we got the W, but there's a lot of things that need to be ironed out. And I think also with Dobbs out, suspended for this game, I think that could hurt us a little bit. I think there were some plays that could have happened with Dobbs that just aren't possible without him. But I'm not I haven't certainly haven't lost hope.
No, yeah.
I think. Sorry, one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I think as far as our defense goes, it was pretty bad. It could have been a lot better. But I think last year, if we had the same D line and we had Joe Barry, I think definitely last year we played this game, we would lose. But I think all things considered, we're on track to do something to be a serious contender this year.
Yeah, we'll touch on the defense here in a little bit. I don't think they played too bad. I think you gotta understand the only reason why it was close. Jordan Love threw a pick six. If you take off that pick six, the defense did pretty well today. The only thing that kept the Rams in the game was their run game. I think that's what kept them in the game. But the Packers have struggled with that for a while now. I will say they do look better with Hafley against the run, but it still is an issue. But on these like absolutely need stops, like on 4th and 5, and we come up big at the end. I feel like with Joe Barry's defense, I don't think we would be getting off the field as much. We also have to consider the fact that we lead the league in turnovers. So I will take that any day of the week. Like the way I personally believe, if you can hold a team to under 20 points, your defense did good that day, especially against McVay, who is an offensive genius. If you can hold them to under 20 points, I'm happy with that. I'm gonna touch on Love on Love real fast, and then I'll let Andrew respond. My only issue with Love, I don't give up on him. And I agree with you. Anyone who thinks that Malik Willis should be in there, yeah, I think they're wrong too. Yeah, Love is a good quarterback. Now, at the second half of the season last year, you can argue that Jay Love was the best quarterback in the league during the second half of last year. Another thing he did very good about was not turning the ball over. So we know what he's capable of. He has a lot of talent, and he is also capable of not turning the ball over. We're not really seeing that right now. I think that play against the pick six in this game is absolutely unacceptable. But going back to him being a young quarterback and he's about to take a safety, I could see why he would throw it. But at the end of the day, sometimes maybe you just take the safety there, or you make sure you put enough on the ball to get it out of bounds. Now, as far as like Love, if let's say he's going to continue playing like good talent but reckless at times, if that's going to be the case, we need to run the ball. None of this. I don't want to see Jacobs with less than 15 carries a game unless the game is just out of hand. But if Love is going to be reckless, if he's going to be more of Brett Favre than Aaron Rodgers, you have to limit the mistakes by running the ball. If you run the ball, you can run play action, and it's going to make Love better. But if Love is trying to win the game on his own, then yeah, he's going to make some mistakes because he is young and things like that. He does have a chip on his shoulder by getting that big paycheck. So, I mean, you know, run the ball, take some pressure off of him, continue to play good defense. I honestly think we're going to be very hard to beat. But that's what I got to say about it. I'll let Andrew touch on it. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah. No, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head right there with his big contract. I think he's trying to live up to it this season rather than progressing as the years go on. I mean, just look at some of the shots he's been taking the past week, 2 weeks, right? Yes, this week it worked out with the Jayden Reed catch down when Jayden Reed was triple covered and he got into the red zone. It worked out. But last week when he was trying to do it, he threw the interception, right? I think he's just trying too hard, I think. Is what it looks like.
Go Falcons, go Falcons. Yeah, Falcons on top. Green Bay sucks.
No, let's get that guy out. I didn't know if he was gonna be a clown. My bad, guys. All right, go ahead.
Nah, so so when he hit Jayden Reed today, it worked out, but it was in triple coverage basically. Like it almost should have been picked. But great throw, great catch. Last week when he did it multiple times last week. So I think he's just trying to throw himself into his contract that he got rather than just take the little short dump downs, man. Like almost what, like I said, the Rams did today. Let dump it down to your running backs, dump it down to your tight ends. Let a drive go and then take the shot eventually. Don't always try to do it first or second play of the game.
Yeah.
So that's where it's at.
Yeah, let him. I mean, you saw how he played last week, and this week. It looked like. I mean, last week he was definitely shaking off rust from this injury, but once he got into the rhythm, he had to get into a rhythm, and he tried it with a couple of deep throws. I think what would be very beneficial for him for his passing game is just to, like you said, throw it off short, tight ends, whatever. And then, once you get further into the game, if that becomes a necessity to, make those deep passes, because we know that he can, he's very capable with his arm and his accuracy at times, then do that. But get into a rhythm, get a little confidence. I think that as he, grows as a quarterback, I think he'll kind of, come into his own. Let that, that contract is huge. I'm sure he's got a lot of, he feels a lot of weight on his shoulders. I think that once he kind of settles into this, he's going to be here a while. I think that he'll gain that confidence to, not have to play hero ball all the time, or not feel like he has to play hero ball all the time. And, he'll find a rhythm with this offense. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks for coming up, bro. Appreciate you.
Thanks, man.
All right. Another thing I wanted to throw in, just going off, since we're talking about Love here. One thing about Love, he got to tight end now. He got to tight end. It's not just receivers that need to be making plays. Tucker Kraft is a real deal, man. I think he's going to be one of the top tight ends by the end of this year. So he has a tight end that can make plays. And one thing I didn't like, Andrew, there was two things. Early in the game, we were backed up against our own end zone. We went 3 and out, but our first two runs so we went 3 and out, but the first 2 plays were runs. But they were to Wilson. I'm like, you're backed up in your end zone. Why are those handoffs not going to Jacobs? Like that, I didn't really understand. Because, I mean, it's not like Jacobs needed a breather. You just got back on the field. The defense was out there. So I was like, man, if you're backed up on your field and your goal is to run it the first 2 downs, they should be going to Jacobs, not Wilson. And I think we ended up going 3 and out. And then another thing I didn't like was at the end of the game, when it was 24-19, we had a chance to put them away offensively. Reed wasn't even out there. I'm like, why is your best player not out there on the field? Like, if you watch the Vikings and Jets game, in the Vikings' last offensive possession, Jefferson was touching the ball. Last week against us, when they needed an offensive score, Jefferson was touching the ball. And like with us, like Reed's not even out there. I'm like, why? Like, why is Reed not out there? You need your best player out there, and then we punted out. But our defense saved us, so it works out, But it's just like, man, like on times, like give the ball to your best player. Like sometimes I
again, don't want to harp on it, but I feel like we try to say we don't have a number one. Like I know we have that motto, we don't have a number one receiver, which we all know we do. Like Packers fans know who the number one receiver is. But I feel like it kind of goes through the whole team is like we don't have that number one player. Like you have your best player on offense, you have your best player on defense, or your better players on offense and defense, right? It's like get them the ball. Like I don't agree throwing. You're talking about that in the fourth quarter when we're trying to run the clock down. I don't agree with that slant that we threw to, I think it was Bo Melton or Malik Heath or whoever it was. Run the ball with Josh Jacobs, man.
Well, supposedly that was on Love. That
he did check out of it. And again, this is why I'm saying players got to fucking play at this point. Like I'm done blaming Matt LaFleur. I'm done blaming Jeff Hafley or whoever our defensive coordinator is. Yeah, I'm done. Like players just got to play. And at this point, yes, we should have probably blown out the Rams way more than what we did. But a win's a win. At this point, I'm taking any wins to get into the postseason, and hopefully we're playing our hot football in December and January. That's where I'm at right now.
Also, to take a little bit more positive out of this win, people can say, oh, the Rams didn't have Puka, they didn't have Cooper. Well, we didn't have Watson, we didn't have Dobbs, and we still came out and won. So on the road, I think that's very promising from a young quarterback.
It is, but can we jump into the defense now? Because this is where I got my gripes with majority of the time now, right? This is my majority gripe with this team right now.
Yeah, so I'm really interested to hear your criticism on the defense on this game because I think they played okay. I think the run defense still needs to get better, but I'll let you get into it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so defense overall played good. We cannot rush with only 4 people. Our front 4 are awful. They have 4 or 5 starting offensive line on IR. And we cannot create a pass rush with Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, or Kenny Clark.
Okay, well, hold on. Okay, because hold on. We did get some sacks today, though, Andrew.
We did, but I think it was off of pressure, like off of blitz. Off of blitzes. Yeah. It wasn't off of 4 like we eventually got to be able to rush people with 4 rushers eventually. Like I get it. Like to me, the bright spots in this defense today, Adrian Cooper played his ass off, Evan Williams played his ass off, and then of course Xavier McKinney with a fumble recovery and another interception. Other than that, like we got to be able to get a pass rush with Rashawn, Kenny, Preston. Like, we got to get with those 4. We got to get some type of pressure, and we weren't. Stafford had all day to throw once we rushed 4. And that's what I'm, irritated with.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because I did write down that our Packers D is at best when we bring pressure. That's when we are at our best.
Sure.
Even with Quay Walker, a lot of people criticize Quay Walker. When he is on the blitz, that's when he is at his best.
Yeah, and that's why he should be. I think he should be an outside linebacker, not really a middle inside. I think he's struggling at middle inside linebacker right now. I think so.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because I think we are the best when we bring pressure. However, you and I both know you can't bring pressure every down. And I agree with you. We can't get to the quarterback with our front 4. So let me ask you this: who? If you realize you're Hafley and you realize, okay, we're not getting to the quarterback with 4, who are you putting as your starting 4 next week?
I mean, they got to roll with it, what they got, to be honest with you. And kind of going to go back to, I think it was either a couple weeks ago that you mentioned, like, do we need to draft a defensive lineman? And the more weeks we go on, I'm like, man, we might need to. I don't know, because this is crazy that we cannot get really any pressure with just 4 defensive linemen. I think Devontae Wyatt being out doesn't help at all either. I think he was playing good up until he got hurt. So that kind of sucks. But yeah, I don't think you change anything. I just think your DBs and your DBs and your safeties got to play coverage a lot longer than a lot of people need to. So I mean,
Yeah. For me, the only issue when we bring pressure is my concern with that is leaving Nixon 1-on-1. That's my only concern in leaving
and
Nixon because
yeah.
he gets. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say he does get beat. Today I'm trying to remember. He did get beat, but I think he made it up. Today they picked on Stokes. Stokes got beat a lot today.
Yeah, he did. Especially in their final touchdown drive.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons, I saw Stokes either slipping or falling behind the receiver. He got beat a lot today. But yes, you're right. Nixon's gonna get beat. They did, I think, move Nixon to the outside and move Bullard to the slot. I think, because I think they had Evan Williams and Bullard in, which are two safeties. They had in the game at one point. And they moved Bullard to the slot, and they had Nixon on the outside, which, okay, maybe that can work. But, yeah, having Jair out right now does kind of hinder Hafley's plan because I think Jair can hold his own, of course. But
yeah, I think Hafley called a better game this week with Jair out than last week. I think last week he was like, man, I don't know if I trust these players. I think this week he showed a little bit more trust in his players. And I think I'm trying to think if there's anything that really bit the Packers defense in the ass to this week. I mean, last week, I think the adjustment Hafley made this week, you saw more of Williams out there instead of Valentine. Last week it was Valentine out there. This week Valentine with a V is back. But then we saw Williams out there instead of Valentine with a B. So I like and what I saw from Evan Williams.
I did too. I think he played a great game. Like I said, my 3 stars on defense this week were Evan. So far, like I haven't watched the game again, but Evan Williams, Edgerrin Cooper played a game, and then of course, like I said, Xavier McKinney had a hell of a game.
Yeah, for sure. And then I also want to give props to Valentine with the V because he came up big on that 2-point conversion. And I think it was a good mentality from him. I think a play or two before that, he got hit with that penalty that set up the touchdown. But then he comes right back and stuffs him on the 2-point conversion. So, we got to give props to him because if he doesn't make that play, all they need is a field goal,
Yeah.
So, but I really like that. So going back to the question on the Packers D-line, I'll be honest, next draft, I think we need to get more than one, if I'm being honest with you. But
I thought it was linebacker, but I might be with you on the D-line because
I'm 100% D-line. 100% D-line. But I wanted to ask you, so on your defensive line for next week, you still got Gary, Preston, Wyatt, and Kenny Clark.
Well, if Wyatt's back, yeah. Wyatt was hurt. I think they had
Carl Brooks.
Yeah, Carl, which he had a good game too. Carl Brooks had a game too. I think he had a sack and a half, or 2 sacks or something. Was 2 sacks? Sack and a half. Yeah, he had a game.
Yeah,
you would have to go with that. I mean,
yeah. Okay, well, so you're not big on Lucas then?
I mean, because Lucas is the edge. So who are you gonna take out, Rashawn or Preston?
I would take out Preston.
Preston. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it either. I mean, Preston's an aging outside line or DE, whatever you want to call him in this defense. I wouldn't be mad at it. I mean, I'm cool with it, but he wasn't getting pressure with it when he was in there either.
I would also try to mix up. I would also I'm not against moving. I mean, here's the thing: if you move Quay to the edge, who are you going to put in the middle to replace him?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you can't. I mean, unless you have Cooper and McDuffie in the middle. But
see, I would like to see Cooper on the edge.
I think he makes a lot of plays though in the middle.
You think so? Because he had a sack too today.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's tough. I think we got some playmakers on that D line, but I
We
mean,
do.
yeah,
They
if you're
just got to play. I came out of this game saying players just got to eventually make plays. That I'm tired of blaming other people for our struggles.
yeah.
At this point, the players got to make plays, and
Well, and I also put that we look good. The Packers D looks best when we bring pressure, and
yeah,
I gotta give Halfley credit because the time that he calls these plays too are perfect.
I
They're
mean, he
perfect.
did call him later in the game, and I like that because if we're going to talk about coaches and not doing what that Joe Barry would have played soft coverage late in the game.
Yep.
Halfley, I felt like brought some pressure late in the game to make Stafford throw some ill-advised throws. So I do like that. Like I said, I don't think we have a bad defense at all because, like I said, once you're getting turnovers. If you're winning the turnover battle, you're giving
Which
your
I think-
offense more chances to have the ball. So we were plus one today because we had one turnover.
That's what I remember. +1. I know they had a fumble, they had a pick,
Pick,
and then we had
we only had the interception. Jordan only threw the interception. I think one interception.
yeah. So +1.
So I think we're +1. So if you're up in that, I like it. So I'm not, like I said, I don't want to criticize too much. I know I'm harping hard on the defense, but my only thing is we got to be able to get pressure with sometimes 4 guys.
Yeah.
We can't always only send 5+ guys to get pressure because at that point our DBs are left on the island at times, and that's not
Yeah.
what we're gonna do.
And I was like, before the season started, I was actually seeing footage of Rashawn Gary training before the season, and I was like, dude, this guy looks scary. But then I read a stat, and it said that his win rate is 3% this year.
Yeah, this year.
Like,
This year's crazy.
bad.
Yeah, it's crazy, but that's all we heard. Like all on Twitter during Packers training camp was this line is killing in this Halfley defense. So that's why I was hyped with it. I was like, oh, let's go. Rashawn's gonna eat. Kenny Clark's gonna eat. Preston's gonna eat. Lucas Van Ness is gonna eat. But they haven't really shown it so far. So yeah, I don't know. And maybe it will turn around later in the season. Who knows? Like I said, maybe they might be at that second half of the season type defense where they start clicking everything together with this defense and they start getting to the quarterback. But right now, it's not looking like it.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I think the defense played fine.
I mean, they
There
played fine.
was
There
was times where Matt Stafford had way too much time to throw. Man.
Way too much time, and like I said, he was dinking and dunking it down a lot of the times. But it doesn't help that Kyron Williams was getting like 5 yards a carry or whatever he was getting. He averaged 4.6 yards a carry.
Yeah,
Because it felt like every time they ran the ball on first down, he was getting 5 or 6 yards. It felt like.
Yeah.
So they were in short and second and short and third and short all the time.
even Blake Corum, the rookie, had an average of 5 yards a carry.
Yeah,
I mean,
he ran 5 for 25. Yeah,
that's a rookie. So like, yeah, man, a rookie behind like a backup offensive line. Like, yeah, that's not a good look. But I don't know. I'm actually a little shocked that Matt Stafford threw for 45 times. I'm very shocked that I thought, because McVay's a very smart coach. I thought he was going to say, hey, we're going to run all game long unless it gets out of hand. But
I think a lot of it came when they were down. I don't know how much, but
Stafford always throws a lot against the Packers, though. Like,
yeah, I mean, because 22 carries, that's nothing to.
No, that's a lot. That's
for Kyron Williams. That's not. I mean, that's a lot for a running back. I mean, and then you got 5. I mean, they ran the ball 28 times as a team, but like you said, 45 times for throwing for Stafford is a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, he should have had 2. He should. McKinney should have had another pick too.
Yeah, he should have had 2 picks. Yeah, like I said, McKinney's a dog, man. 5 for 5. That's crazy. That is crazy. If McKinney's not in the conversation of, in which he probably won't be because he's a safety, but defensive player of the year at this point, 5 interceptions in 5 games for recovery, it's crazy.
Yeah, hold on. We got another guest. This guest before he came up said, "I hate that the Packers are a second half team this season." Yeah, we were
They
talking
were
about
like
that
that last
earlier.
year. They were like that last year.
Let me. Oh, what happened here? Hold on, man. Okay, let's see what this guy got. All right, what's up, man?
Yeah, what's up?
You a Packers fan?
Of course.
What's up?
Watching the whole game.
What's up, man?
What's up? How you doing?
Pretty good. Is there anything you want to say? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear him. What's your thoughts on the game, man?
I wish that the Packers could actually play a decent game at the beginning of the first two quarters of the game. I wish that it's always not going to be a close game. We could have beaten the Vikings last game if we can play a decent game in the first two quarters.
No, yeah, you're 100% right. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about this kind of like last week or maybe earlier this week, where we can't put together 4 quarters. Like we're either a good first half team or a good second half team, and it's mainly the good second half team. And I told David it's been this way since not even just last year. I feel like it's been the past 3 or 4 years or so that it's been like this. So at this point, it's just like, if we're going to be a good second half team, we got to be able to be in range in the second half to win the game. And it does suck, but that's what the reality is right now.
Yeah. And I think we talked about this on Saturday when we went live. I said, there's no doubt that we're a good team, but when you talk about Super Bowl contending team, and I told Andrew that for the past 2 years, I went to go look at the Kansas City Chiefs, all of their losses, right? And all of their losses were very close, very close. They had one game where they lost 24-9 against the Broncos, but at the end of the third quarter, that score was 14-9. So the Broncos had to play that fourth quarter also to win the game. So if you look at the Chiefs, they're back-to-back champions, and it's because you have to play football for 4 quarters against them. And then with the Packers, I was telling Andrew that, right now you just got to play 2 good quarters to beat them. And then there was one game in the playoffs where the Chiefs were down big against the Texans, I think 3 years ago. And then the Chiefs actually came back and won. I think they were down 24 and they came back and won. With the Packers, they're coming back, but still falling up short. So I'm like, if we want to be a Super Bowl contender, we got to play 4 quarters of football. So I 100% agree with you that we are only playing one half right now. I think most Packer fans will agree with you on that too. But was there anything else you wanted to say, man?
Also, we're on that point, we really don't have a defense until the second half, which I hate. Jordan Love, I know he's just back off of injury, but he makes all the worst mistakes when it counts. Not when it counts, but he makes all the worst mistakes. He doesn't make a lot of them, but when he makes mistakes, he makes all the worst mistakes.
Yeah. I mean, I think this game, if the Rams would have put it off in the end, I think Jordan Love could take the criticism for this game if we lost. But I think you also got to give him some of the credit for the reason why we won. I don't think he is the reason. I don't think he's the reason why we won, but I think he is he settled down after that pick is what I want to say. And that's what I want to see as well. How do you respond to that was probably his biggest mistake of his career so far. That was ugly.
That was his first pick 6 of his career, so that was his biggest mistake.
Yeah, but I like the way he responded. And a lot of young quarterbacks don't respond that way. And he led his team after halftime to a victory on the road. So there is very promising stuff from him. But I feel like last year, especially in the second half of the season, he was playing like an underdog. No one believed in him. And then now you see him get that big contract, and now You can see him trying a little too hard. And I think he, like, going back to what Andrew said earlier, just take what the defense gives you. Like, that's all you got to do. You don't got to prove to anyone anymore that you can play football. We all know you can. I mean, no one had the Packers in the playoffs last year. You get to the playoffs. No one had you beating the Cowboys in the playoffs. You beat the Cowboys. No one needs to know if you can play now. We just want to see you be consistent now. I think that's what Packers fans want, especially after you sign that big deal. We just want to see you be consistent. I'm not saying he's not going to throw picks, but I will say I did not have him throwing this many picks in 5 weeks of the season. I think he has 5 picks already, and he didn't play in 2 of the games. That needs to get cleaned up a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah, completely agree. All I want to say is at least we're not the 49ers.
Yeah, they look ugly, man. They look ugly.
And I was going to bring that up. I know we're going to talk more NFL like later in the week, but that's the thing is like just win games right now. That's all I care about. Yes, they're probably going to be ugly games. Just win games. Let's get to December, January, and be a good football team. Because this NFC right now, yes, the Vikings are 5-0, but they didn't look great against the Jets either. So let's just win games. I think the NFC is kind of open right now, man. Like we thought the Niners would be dominant, but just win games.
Yeah. And I think you and I can both agree, Andrew, that the playoffs started today and we had to go into Minnesota. We would be okay with that.
Yeah.
For
sure. For sure. I said, I'm not like, yes, Minnesota. Like, if you look at the score, we only lost by 2. They did dominate us a lot, but the second half, we came back and put up work. And I think going into it, I think coaches will have a different game plan. I think players will have you would hope players have a different mindset and a different attitude towards that game and go in and perform. But right now, the NFC to me is wide open. Seattle lost to the Giants. Like I said, was the only undefeated team in the NFC. The Vikings 5-0 because the Vikings and Chiefs are the only undefeated team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
someone in the chat said McKinney was MVP of that game. This is what I'll say. He definitely changed the momentum in that game.
Okay. If we're gonna try to change the momentum, and Igbari, who caused the fumble, McKinney did pick it up and go. I think that fumble did change the momentum of the game. That fumble that we got after halftime, because we didn't have the ball after halftime. We kicked it to Minnesota, to LA. They go and then they fumble the ball and then we score. That did change the momentum of the game for sure.
Yeah,
so, I'm gonna say it's McKinney, but yeah.
McKinney is definitely a game changer, man. Like he brings a different vibe to that defense. But we got another guest, man. What's up, Travis?
Oh boy, too many close games today again.
Who's your team?
I like Vikings and the Packers.
Oh, nice. What's up, man?
I've been up from 6:30 this morning.
Yeah. What's up, man? What did you want to say?
Because we had the Vikings podcast meeting this morning at 7:30.
Oh, okay.
What's going on with Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers looks so hurt today. I don't know what's going on with his Achilles.
Who are we talking about?
Aaron Rodgers, the former Packer.
Oh, I just think he might be a little washed, to be honest. I think that's it.
They have no offensive line in New York.
That's true. That doesn't help him either.
You say, I have a question. Is anyone going to... Who do you think is going to be in last place in RD Vision? RD Vision is so damn good this year.
The North, yeah.
Dude, that's tough.
Yeah. The North.
Man.
The Bears dominated today.
If I am being 100% honest with you, the Bears are the only team that don't look like they can keep it up for the rest of the season.
Yeah, even though they dominated Carolina today, but yeah.
What do you mean?
Meaning like they're 3-2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to look at their wins though. Who have they beaten? Like with the Panthers?
They beat Carolina. Carolina sucks.
Right.
Anybody can beat Carolina.
Right. That's why I want to look at their wins. Like who have they beaten?
Beat the Panthers. They beat the Rams, and I think they beat who did they play the first week of the season? Tennessee.
Tired right now.
They beat Tennessee,
Okay.
the Rams, and whoever they play. Yeah.
Okay, so what that tells me is they're not beating anyone, but they're at least beating the teams that they should beat. Like the Rams are beat up, the Titans are bad, and the Panthers are bad. So I mean, yes, even though they're 3-2, let's. I want to glance at the rest of their schedule. They got the Jags, Commanders, Cardinals, Patriots. Dang, they got an easy schedule.
Commanders are
Man.
going to be tough, man.
Yeah. Well, so they might beat the Jags, but they're going to lose to the Commanders. But I'm not trying to get into Bears talk.
Okay, I would, to answer your question, I would go with the Bears because I'm looking at their schedule towards the end of the season. It's brutal. There's like they got Vikings, Lions, Niners, Vikings, Lions, Seahawks, Packers to end their season. That's brutal. So to answer your question, I would have the Bears falling last because if you asked me a week or two ago if I thought Minnesota would keep it up, I'd probably tell you no. But I think they're for real, man. I think they're a good team.
The Vikings defense is unbelievable.
Yeah, they made Aaron Rodgers get 3 picks, I think, today.
When's the last time Aaron Rodgers had 3 picks?
Yeah, but answer the question, Andrew. Who do you got getting last in our division?
The Bears for sure. Because I mean, Minnesota's 5-0, Detroit's going to be good, and then I don't think the Packers are going to be last. So I think the Bears are going to be last in the NFC North. Now, it like you said, it might come down towards the end of the season. Like it might be a tight race through these next few weeks because the Bears aren't playing anybody good, and I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, I know the Packers play Arizona next week and the Texans the following week, but I mean, it's definitely the Bears going to come in last in this division.
Yeah, and
I'm saying it might be falling off is Detroit.
Nah, they're too good of a team, man.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, but I just.
Well, I mean, okay, so like I read to you the schedule that the Bears had. It's very brutal. You also got to consider at the end of the season, everyone's going to have tape on Caleb Williams. So Caleb Williams, I think, will fall off a little as the season goes on, but not because he's not a good quarterback, just because people are going to have tape on him. So it's like he's going to hit some adversity throughout this season. Like I know he has already hit some, but I mean, I don't know. I think Caleb Williams. And you also got to consider that offense has zero chemistry. Like they're all new; they've never played with each other.
They
So
have no online either.
yeah, but and I mean, if we're being honest, do you think they're still 3-2 if they don't have a good defense?
Ooh.
Who's that? Chicago?
Yeah, like do you think Chicago's still 3-2 if it's not for their defense?
Yeah, because they don't beat Tennessee if Will Levis don't Will Levis. Because Caleb looked awful in that game.
He did.
Yeah, so I think if Chicago didn't have a good defense and Tennessee was somewhat capable on offense, Tennessee wins that game. But yeah,
For sure. But
you think the Vikings can the Vikings beat Detroit in 2 weeks?
who's home?
At the Vikings, it's going to be the US Bank Stadium, the largest stadium in the job.
Yeah, I think they could beat them.
yeah. Detroit. You said Detroit. Can Detroit beat the Vikings?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure they can beat them. Definitely. Sorry, that was baseball. I think Detroit can beat them. Now the only concern with Detroit against Minnesota, especially in Minnesota, Detroit's defense didn't look too great against Seattle last week. So I don't know what Sam Darnold's going to do against that Detroit's defense.
I'm wondering if Aaron Jones is going to be okay.
Yeah, he didn't get hurt today.
He got it. So we do have a question in the chat. But before I answer that, did you want to say anything else, Travis, before we move on?
I can help answer the chat.
All right. So someone said, when do we start to panic about love? I'll let y'all hit that first.
Oh, let me go first. What's the question again?
When do we start to panic about love?
Oh, that's a tough question. See, number one, they have no left tackle to protect him from his blind side. I'm thinking, okay, who does the Packers got coming up in the schedule?
I think the Cardinals, no.
Yeah, Arizona next week, then Texans the following week.
Yeah, I think it's
after I would say after the Texans game, because the Texans defense is pretty good.
Yeah, they are pretty good.
I would say worry about Love if he drops the next 2 games because they're both at home. But if you're asking me, am I panicking right now? No way, because we almost beat Minnesota, who is very good, and then we came out and found a way to win on the road. And I mean that we don't know if J Love is 100% healthy. So let's say he's not 100% healthy and he's still performing the way he's performing. I'm not panicking at all right now.
It's way too early to panic. Yeah, it's way too early to panic. I mean, to be honest with you, even if he kind of plays like this the rest of the season and we kind of go to the wild card or whatever, I still won't panic. But I think it's just way too early. Like,
yeah, I mean,
working for you. So the Packers trade Malik Willis and look for a left tackle.
Nah, at this point with J Love, I think we can argue that he's still not 100% healthy. I wouldn't risk getting rid of Willis. You might need him. I also think you can get very creative with the offense by having Love and Willis in there as well. I like Willis. I think when we only had to give up a 7th round pick to get him, I thought that was a steal, man. I thought the Packers did very good on that.
What's the next question? Bring it on.
No, that was it, man. So yeah, we were gonna move on, but did you want to say anything else?
You know what the Packers really need before when is the trading deadline? Do you know?
I can look it up. Give me a second. But go ahead. What do you want to say?
They need to the Packers need a kicker.
Yeah, I think everyone knows that, even people who aren't Packers fans.
How about the Vikings kicker, David?
I'm not familiar with the Vikings kicker, to be honest.
They're well like a guy. He made a 54-yard field goal this morning.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Can't complain about that, man.
What do you think? You think the Vikings can win the division?
Can they win it?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. They're a good team. I can definitely see them winning it. You think they're gonna fall off, David?
If they don't fall off during the regular season, it's definitely gonna happen in the postseason.
Oh well, yeah, postseason, but they can win the division
because you got Sam Darnold in the playoffs. That's why. Now look, I'm not here to shit on Sam Darnold because no, I don't think he's a terrible player. But we have to look at his career as a whole. Like, he's having a wonderful season this game, and everyone is all like, oh, Sam Darnold is a real deal. No, not really. He's just having a good year. But if you look at his career, I mean, what was he, a backup for most of his career? And then he comes into Vikings, and yeah, he it's his time right now. But I'm not jumping on that wagon that, oh, yeah, he could take them to the Super Bowl. No, I'm not jumping on that wagon.
Can the Chiefs lose tomorrow night against the Saints?
Yes, they can, but I think they'll win.
Why do you say that, David?
Because Mahomes always finds a way to win. They're home.
I picked the Saints, so.
I think I mean, like I said, you got to play 4 quarters of football to beat the Chiefs. I don't think the Saints are going to do that. I think, but then again, Mahomes, this is probably the one time in his whole career where his weapons don't look good right now. I mean, Rashee Rice went down. I think who does?
Kelsey looks old.
Huh?
Travis Kelsey doesn't look that good this year.
Yeah, I don't think he has a touchdown yet.
Can you look that up, David? Can you see?
No, I looked it up earlier. He doesn't have a touchdown yet.
Yeah, he doesn't.
What's the weakness on Kansas City's point?
We'll see what keeps Kansas City in the game, and this is another reason why I don't have the Saints beating them. Kansas City has a good defense, a very good defense. That's why they're undefeated. They're not undefeated because of Mahomes. They're undefeated because of their defense. And I think they will slow down the Saints because the Saints got a good offense, but dude, the Chiefs defense, they're very hard to score on, especially all game long. They're very hard to score on. They just don't give up a lot of points.
Vikings defense?
Do what?
Do they win my the Vikings D?
I like the Vikings D.
I think the Vikings D might be a little bit more potent than the Chiefs defense. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean potent? What do you mean?
like I think they're a little bit more dominant than Kansas City's defense. Minnesota's defense is. I just like the way, for whatever reason, Brian Flores got those guys playing so hard. I mean, yeah, I think Minnesota's like one of the top defenses in the league, if I'm not mistaken.
And you cannot get. You know what? You cannot get behind the Vikings because the Vikings don't give up leads.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta go. I'm getting tired. I have a long day tomorrow.
All right, man. Later. Yeah, I do like the Chiefs defensive coordinator over Brian Flores though. Steve Spagnuolo. But that's nothing bad against Brian Flores. I think he's a wonderful DC. I do. But
get back to the Packers football.
Yeah. So the last two things I wrote down was that we finally ran the ball. I think we touched on that a little bit. And then
but I think we ran the ball more in the second half than we did I think we got to again, not to harp on Matt LaFleur or play calling or whoever, or if it's Jordan changing the play. I think we got to run the ball early and often. I feel like we wait too long to start running the ball. And again, I think this goes back to Jordan trying to get all the chunk plays early off in the game. But like, let Josh Jacobs eat. He's a workhorse. He does this. Let him work.
Yeah.
So yeah, we ran the ball. Like his stats say we ran it. What was it? 19 times it said.
Yeah, I'm looking up a stat right now. I just want to look at some of his games in Oakland. I want to see how many times he was running the ball in Oakland.
I mean, I felt like he was a workhorse. Like he was workhorse in Oakland.
Yeah, so let me look at his career stats.
But I just like early and often just run the ball. Now again, our offensive line I feel like didn't help that narrative too much because I feel like our run blocking wasn't there for whatever reason against this defensive line that gives up a lot of rushing yards anyways. Yeah. I don't know what it was, but
all right, that's all I got. And then like I said, I touched on Hafley doing good against a
Hey, you want to talk about your favorite thing in the world real quick?
God. What's that?
Kicking, man. 1 for 1, made all his extra points, man. Narvison, man.
Yeah, you look good, man. Hey, you can even ask my girlfriend on this, man. I cheered the loudest throughout the whole game when he made a kick.
When he made a kick, I mean, it was nerve-wracking, but he made it right down the middle. It was a good kick.
Even more shocking. I was like, oh yeah,
it was right down the middle, and he was 100% on his extra points. I was like, man, Narvison coming through.
Oh, yeah, we got Zach wanting to come back up.
Oh, yeah, let's go, Zach.
What's up, Zach?
Yo, what's up, guys?
What's up, man? Remember you? What's up?
Oh, not much, dude. Shame to see the Vikings
pull it off. I know.
But what do you do? Glad to come back and glad to get this win right back in shape.
Yeah. Vikings are taking care of business right now. Can't hate on them for that, but
was rooting for a good old A-Raj this morning though. Was hoping he could pull it off, but came up short.
Yeah, you always. I mean, it's fun watching him on the Jets. Watching him, but you want to cheer for him. But I think he's getting a little too old, man. He might need to evaluate here.
Yeah. I think that's what we were talking with the other guests about. He said, I think he asked, what do you think is wrong with Rodgers? I said, maybe just simply he's just a little bit washed up.
Yeah, I had somebody ask me today, actually. I went to a restaurant and was watching it. They were like, do you how do you feel about the whole Rodgers situation? I was like, I think we got rid of him just in time.
Yep.
I think Gutekunst did a great job of making that trade happen. At the time, I was so livid because I was a big Aaron Rodgers fan. Like, what are we doing? He's the best quarterback in the league. But he knows what he's doing. Got rid of him at the right time. Now, nobody expected him to get hurt in 4 plays his first season with the Jets. But this season, he looks old, man. He looks old.
Yeah. And I don't think we can blame the Achilles either because Kirk Cousins had Achilles tear and he's tearing it up.
Yeah.
Tearing
Well, I think he looked old his last season in Green Bay too.
I'm glad you said that because when you said we got rid of him just in time, I was gonna say you can argue that we got rid of him a year too late.
Too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you gotta go that one last time. I mean, what they did, the last dance type. You gotta go try one more last time. Yeah. But
Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
I think it did wonders for Love keeping him around for as long as we did.
yeah, that's true.
After we drafted him, because I think if you took Love and threw him right in there, you're going to see, look at Sam Darnold, right? He was thrown in right away with the Jets. Everyone said, worst quarterback in the league. This guy's terrible. He'll never make it. And he goes and sits and learns for a couple of years, and all of a sudden, look at this. He's 5-0. Top 5 touchdown leaders, probably top 5 quarterback in the league this season right now. So it's like if we threw Jordan Love in the day when we drafted him, said get rid of Rodgers, get him out of here, he probably would have looked horrible. But he just learned, he gets to watch, and now he's coming out. I mean, what was it last year? If you only looked at his stats in the third and fourth quarter of every game last year, I think what was he the best quarterback in the league in the third and fourth quarter?
For sure. And he was arguably the best quarterback in all of football the second half of the season too.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like you put up those numbers, and I'm like, as a Packer fan, I'm a little concerned that we're almost doing the same thing. We're not really coming out of the cannon, finishing where we left off last season. We're kind of, we'll take one here, and then obviously, J-Lo gets hurt, but then he comes back at the Vikes. I'm like, watching the first half, this isn't great. And then he comes out and throws 4 touchdowns, and then he also throws 3 interceptions. And come on, man.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I said the same thing either yesterday or last week that we almost look identical to what we did last year at the beginning of the season. Our receivers aren't catching balls like they were the second half of the season. Jordan doesn't look like he did the end of the season last year. And it just kind of looks kind of wonky, like almost the first half of the beginning of the season last year. So I don't know what that is about, but if we're winning more games than we did last year at the beginning of the season and we continue growing like we did last year, I think we have a chance. We definitely have a chance.
Yeah. So someone in the comments said the Bears are coming for you. I highly doubt that, but we'll see week 10. Man.
Hey, man, we'll see.
We'll see week 10. Come back after week 10.
Is that when we first play them?
Yeah.
That's so late. I hate them.
Actually, I think week 10 is our bye, and we play them week 11.
I hate that we play them so late, though. Like I like having the Bears at the last game of the season, but I hate that our first game is like so late in the season.
I think it's kind of funny with like Bears fans are saying that after they only beat the Titans, the Panthers, and then who else?
The Titans, Panthers, and
I don't know who else they beat.
Rams. They beat the Rams.
Those are all 3 struggling teams right now. The Rams are a good team. It's just that they got everyone injured. But
injured. Yeah, they're just injured.
The other two, you better have beaten them. But so Zach, Andrew, I want to ask you a question real fast. Do you think from here on out you're going to start to see a lot of NFL teams doing what the Packers do as far as drafting someone like a quarterback, letting them sit for a while, and then throwing him in?
No.
I mean, I don't know if this is an entirely new concept. I mean, the Packers are probably one of the only organizations to do it as well as it's been done. But I don't think this is an entirely new concept. I don't know why more teams aren't doing this. It seems like everyone has this mindset. Well, we just drafted the Heisman last year. We drafted the Heisman first, second, third, fourth, fifth. And then they come out and they throw 50 yards their first game, can't throw a touchdown, have their defense come out there and win the game for them. You look at Caleb Williams week 1, right? This guy was supposed to be the face of the NFL, change how the game's played, and he throws 70 yards in his first week.
Yeah.
And throw 60 attempts to get him over 300 yards. So.
Yeah. No, but
you think they would?
Yeah, no, you're not going to see that because of the people like C.J. Stroud last year, doing pretty well in the rookie season. This year, Jaden Daniels. It seems like you got to pick a quarterback the second overall pick.
So you think Bryce Young is just a flat out bust then?
As of now,
I mean, okay, because like C.J. Stroud went to a Texans team that was kind of set up for success for C.J. Stroud, and then
but the thing is, the Texans didn't even know they were going to draft C.J. Stroud. Like they were still up in the air. Like from what I hear, because I listen to a lot of the local. I'm in Houston, so I listen to a lot of the local radio. According to reports, they weren't 100% sure on C.J. Stroud, but they decided on him, and they go there. I don't know if they were set up for C.J. Stroud. I think C.J. was just that guy. I don't know what people. I mean, I don't watch a lot of college football, so I can't say like why Bryce Young was the overall favorite last year, the number one overall pick. I don't know. But, yeah, C.J. Stroud coming out second pick and doing what he did last year. And then this year, I mean, to be honest with you, Jaden Daniels is playing way better than Caleb Williams. And when he the number 2 pick overall to the Commanders.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, but if you have these type of quarterbacks, teams are going to risk it that need quarterbacks to draft these quarterbacks and start them early. Because of these circumstances, but I agree. Like I like the way we do it. Like draft it. Like have an established quarterback. Draft a QB maybe a little earlier than our starting quarterback would like. Via Aaron Rodgers to Brett Favre, Jordan Love to Aaron Rodgers, but do it anyways. Let them sit and then do this. I think this is the smart way to do it.
Yeah. Another question I have for y'all. I want to touch on Davante Adams a little bit. I heard a trade proposal, Davante to the Falcons, but in return, the Raiders get Michael Penix Jr. and some kind of pick.
Is that a legit trade offer?
It's just something. It's just something I saw.
Like on social media?
No. It was a fan.
Oh, okay. I thought like a reporter was important.
Well, it was a fan saying that supposedly Atlanta is interested in supposedly the Raiders. Wait, I think it was an Atlanta fan. No, I'm sorry. It was a Raider fan saying that supposedly Atlanta is interested for Davante, and that the Raiders fan was like, well, if you're not willing to give up Michael Penix Jr., we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good trade for both teams.
I think so too.
I think it's a good trade for both teams.
What do you think, Zach? I don't know if
do we lose him?
He's still there.
Yeah, I'm still here. I can't really hear anything right now. It's echoing so bad.
Oh shit! Hey, drop out and come back on.
I can't really hear anything right now.
Yeah, he's echoing. Just try to come back on.
I think that's a good trade, man. Like for both teams.
Yeah, I think the Raiders need a quarterback right now, and the Falcons
could use another basket because I mean.
And I told you too. I said, "Hey, he looked good in black. Move him to."
Yeah, well, and see when you said that, that's why I thought the Saints because I was like, "Well, Saints are in black, and they have Derek Carr."
Yeah. Hold on. Hey, Zach. Did you hear about the trade that I just said or no?
Yeah, what you were saying. Wanted Davante to the Falcons for the quarterback they drafted, second overall or whatever.
Michael Penix. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was like 7th through 11th overall. I don't know, but I mean, he was definitely a first-round pick.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be an absolutely crazy move by the Falcons. Because I think what the Falcons were trying to do is they go, okay, let's do Lambeau in 2 years. Let's sign Kirk Cousins and Penix sit behind him. And obviously, I mean, someone at the Falcons head office thinks, Kirk Cousins is the greatest quarterback of all time. But and one stat everyone always says about Kirk Cousins is look at these game-winning drives. He's the number one guy with the game-winning drives. Yeah, well, good quarterbacks don't get in a situation where they need one more touchdown to win. Good quarterbacks end the game with, a 12-point lead, 14-point lead or something like that. That's why Kirk is like that because he's good, but he's not great.
Yeah.
So I think to give him up for Davante would be crazy because I don't think even with Davante and Kirk, they're contenders this year. I just don't. I think they're good, but I don't think they're contenders.
Damn, that I think that's a hot take because I like I like the Falcons and what they're doing. I think I thought even when they pick up Michael Penix Jr., I thought it was a good pickup because at the end of the day, you didn't know what you were going to get with Kirk. Like you had no idea. I think if Kirk was not doing good this year, there's a possibility Michael Penix would have already been in there. But I mean, Kirk is just playing too good right now. So I think the Falcons. If I'm the Falcons, hey. Like we're doing well right now. If we add Devontae and the only thing we got to give up is the quarterback we gave up, then I think you make that trade if you want to win now. But like if you're thinking about future, maybe you hold on to Michael Penix. You just let Devontae go somewhere else because Devontae is aging as well. But I mean, I think he's still got something in the tank.
Devontae's got to come back to the Packers, man. That's what he's got to do.
I don't think he'll come back.
No shot. But you know how cool that'd be, though.
And
yeah,
that's
you know, I wish, but it's not gonna happen.
I mean, we have the cap space for him. It's not like we don't have the cap space for him. We do. It's just I don't see him coming, man.
He's probably gonna go to the Jets, and
well, the Jets need him. The Jets are terrible. That offense was depressing watching this morning, man.
Yeah, they got a lot of things to work out. You know, and everyone, you ever watch the Jets on the post game conference? I mean, even Rodgers, he just looks every week, win or loss, he just looks defeated. Everybody there just looks like they're just not having a good time. Yeah. And I don't think that's what you want to see out of your team when you're watching. You want these guys to come out and be like, "Hey, we lost it, but it was great. I mean, we were there all the way, but we just lost."
Yeah.
You know, these guys just every time they come out, they're like, "Yeah, this sucks. We got to work on shit."
Yeah, hold on, guys. I just want to thank Pack Visual for giving gifts to the live. Thank you, man. Really appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot, man. Thank you. There is someone else that does want to come up. Did you want to say anything else, Zach?
Let me ask Zach for something real quick. Hey Zach. How do you feel about this defensive line for the Green Bay Packers? Like, what's your thoughts?
Okay, so I was listening to you guys talk about this a little bit. I think it was yesterday. I don't feel great about it. I mean, listen, the Packers defense is right there. It's right there. It's so close to being a threat to every single team in the NFL. I don't see really any pressure. I mean, look at the Vikings game right this morning. I mean, every single snap, it looked like he could go down right here. And then they got home a lot. What did we get? 2 sacks, I think. I don't know. I was kind of in and out of the game tonight.
We had the Packers.
Yeah,
we had 2 sacks.
3 sacks. Okay.
We should be putting up 9. I mean, you know, Rashawn Gary, let's get there. We got to be putting up 9, 12, 15 sacks a game, man.
I'm not gonna lie. That's some all-star shit right there. Like that's asking
5+. 5+. I agree. Like we pay Rashawn, we pay Kenny. Like, you got to get pressure on this.
It's home one time, once a quarter. You know, let everybody eat, and then you're putting pressure. You're making guys nervous. I mean, Matthew Stafford, he probably said the guy 9 times in a game. You're not really gonna push him off his mind track. He's a veteran. But, you know, some of these younger guys, you know, if you can hit Caleb Williams, if you can get hands on him 4, 5, 6 times, that's going to shift the entire outcome of the game. Yeah. So if you come out the first half and just annihilate this guy, you're going to win no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
I don't like the pass rush right now, but like I don't like the pass rush when we bring 4. But we also talked about how I think the Packers D is at its best when we do bring pressure. Because when we bring pressure, you will see that Matt Stafford was not the same when we brought pressure. He got the ball off real quick, and he even took some sacks. But I do agree, you know, if we want to be a great defense, we do got to get home with just bringing 4. Like, I do agree with that 100%.
At some point.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I hope you guys have a good one. It's good talking to you guys.
Yeah, brother. See you soon. Bye.
Yeah.
All right. What's up, Andrew? Other Andrew.
What's up?
Yeah, what's up? What you got?
don't know. You want to talk about the Giants win today?
What's that?
Oh yeah, you a Giant. He came up before. He's a Giants fan.
Oh.
Yeah. I was surprised. I had the Giants winning this game on the schedule, but like in the beginning of the season. But I didn't think we were gonna win because Malik was out. But that blocked field goal was key.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I had Seattle winning, and I had them by -6.5. So
Yeah.
the fact that the Giants pulled out that win, I was very surprised. But
The Giants remind me of the Vikings. No one had them doing shit before the season started at all. Vikings and the Giants. I mean, I know y'all are not undefeated like the Vikings, but y'all are definitely.
they're in the division.
I would
What's the Giants' record?
2-3. Yeah.
I mean, they're still in the division technically, right?
Honestly, I think as a Giants fan, you like if they don't get last place in the division, I think you got to be happy with that. I mean, for like future references, because I don't think anyone had y'all getting better than last place this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think y'all still need a lot of work to do, man. But I mean, Mac. The good thing is Daniel Jones is starting to look like okay, maybe we do got a quarterback. He didn't do bad. 23 for 34, 257, 2 touchdowns. I mean, I would be happy as a Giants fan with that. Y'all had a backup running back that went off.
Yeah.
18 carries, 129 yards. Tyrone Tracy Jr. I've never heard that name, but I'm guessing Singletary was out, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure he was out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, now you even got a backup running back too, and then you even had a receiver that went off. Darius Slayton, 8 receptions, 122 yards.
Slayton, he hasn't been doing good these past years. So he needed that game.
Yeah, but yeah, man, y'all looked good, and that defense in Seattle was not that bad. So props to the Giants. Yeah, man, I give y'all's props this week.
Yeah.
Here, our defense has been doing good all year. I feel like.
Yeah, I haven't been paying too much attention to y'all's defense, but I mean, I'll take your word on it.
I did a football sheet this week. Well, I do one every week. It's a spreadsheet. I hit on my spreadsheet. I picked 4 teams.
Yeah.
I picked the Commanders to beat the Browns. They had to win by 3.5. I had the Baltimore beating Cincinnati by 2.5. That game was crazy.
Yeah, it was. God dang.
Took too long because it made me miss some of the Packers game.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said that game took too long, made me miss like the first drive of the Packers game.
Yeah, it's because we watched the game on YouTube TV, and they didn't show it. They didn't show the Packers game until the Bengals game ended.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a crazy game. This Sunday night game, man, I don't know if it's gonna happen.
But all right, Andrew, I appreciate you coming up, big guy.
All right, see ya.
All right, bye, man. All right, Andrew. That might be the last guest we bring up for the rest of the live.
Yeah, that's cool.
Was there anything else you wanted to touch on?
Yeah, no, man. Like I said, a dub's a dub. At this point, that's all I'm taking. I don't care if it's ugly. Just win, man. Just win.
Yeah.
Just win. Get into December, and we'll talk about how we actually look. We got Arizona next week, which beats San Fran. So,
you know what's funny, Andrew? Some of these games before the season, some of them before the season started, I marked as like, oh, that's a win, automatic, right? But then you come to play them during the season, and they're actually doing pretty good. Like,
yeah. So I'm assuming you had Arizona as a W, right?
I had Arizona as a W. I had the Vikings as a W. And when we play the Vikings, they were actually looking pretty good. And then now we're coming against Arizona, and they're actually looking.
That's
pretty
right.
good.
I mean, it's in Lambeau, so that's a good thing. Our next 2 games are in Lambeau, so.
I will say this: don't let the Cardinals' record fool you, man. They're better than 2-3, in my opinion. I think they're better than 2-3. I do want to see who they lost to. Give me a second.
They lost to Buffalo and
They lost to Buffalo, and they lost to the Lions.
yeah. So 2 good teams.
They blew out the Rams 41-10. They got blown out by the Commanders. Damn, Commanders, man. And then they won today on the road in San Fran.
In San Fran, yeah. So on the road in San Fran.
Yeah. Hopefully, we have Jair back because we're gonna be going up against Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I think I texted you this. He was out there pregame. He just when he tried it out, he said he couldn't go. So the expectation is he's supposed to be out there next week. So
Yeah, I thought for sure he was coming back this week. I
which
mean,
is cool. I mean, they didn't really have a number one receiver that he had to be locked on, even though I feel like what's his name, Whittington, killed us a lot.
yeah.
But
Oh, hey, quick question. I know you're gonna be out of town this week. I can actually do early lives this week. Like it doesn't have to be late. So whenever you want to come back on, like instead of
I'll text you.
okay, all right, cool,
I'll text you.
all right.
So yeah, that's all I had. Like I said, win. At this point, I made my statement. I'm tired of blaming coaches. Players gotta play. Let's go. Let's go get this dub.
I'll be honest. I don't even have. Hold on, real fast. Hey, Zach, thank you for the rose, man. Really appreciate you. Thank you for that, Dolphin.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Zach. I really cannot criticize too much of Halfley. This year, I think I think part of that is because we dealt with Joe Barry for so long. That
Okay, so the reason why we don't blame Halfley right now is because at least he's looking competent. He doesn't have Preston Smith on a wide receiver. I mean, that was Joe Barry's defense. Or we're rushing 3 defenders and still giving up 15, 20 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, that's fine and good. Like, Halfley's defense does give up the yards and stuff. But, again, I think this is more players than his scheme.
Yeah, and I actually think Halfley is good enough to run a defense. I'm not saying Joe Barry cannot like work with the defense, but like, I mean, what does he have in Miami? He has a linebacker job. Like, I think that fits Barry more than running the whole defense because, I mean, let's be honest, man. Like, the guy was never consistent, never made adjustments. And I'm just like, man, I just think running a whole defense was too much responsibility for Joe Barry. But I always said, like, once Joe Barry got fired, I always said he's going to get a job somewhere. He is. I just don't think it's going to be as a defensive coordinator, which sure enough, it wasn't. He's a linebackers coach in Miami. But I'm just happy that the guy got a job. But I personally knew as a Packers fan, this defense was a lot better than what they were putting out over the past few years. So I think Halfley is a better choice. The only thing that was a little concerning to me, I know he wasn't the Packers' first choice. That was the only thing that was concerning. But they also said that LaFleur had a lot to do with bringing Halfley in. Like when LaFleur made the call, he knew it was going to be a long shot, but he actually persuaded him to leave the head coaching job and come. Yeah. So
Boston College, yeah. So yeah, again, we're going to give up the yards. It seems like, but if we can get the turnover battle and win the turnover,
what do you mean by yards? Like what's your definition of giving up yards? Like over 400? Over like?
I mean, hold on. Let me pull up. What did we give up today?
Like you're talking about as a total?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but like what like when you say we're gonna give up yards, like what is too much yards for you?
I mean, I guess the yard. What I'm saying is like today. I guess I got the.
They had 370 total yards.
Yards, and
that's not bad.
My thing is the dinking and dunking. Like we were giving up 5 yards a carry, and then they were dinking for the first. Like that. That's the shit I'm worried about. Like the dinking and dunking shit. And then what did we give up last week? Because we gave up a lot last week, didn't we?
Yeah, I want to look at every week so far. Okay, last week we gave up 374. 374, and we had 465 last week.
Yeah, I felt like that was out of necessity.
And then against the Titans, let's look at this. Titans only had 237 total yards. That's damn good. I'll take that any day. Colts, I'm pretty sure they were worse than the Titans.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not actually. The Colts had 338 total yards.
Damn.
I know, and they only scored 10 points. The Eagles one is the one that might be bad. Yeah, the Eagles had 410, but then again, we had 414. Now hold up, Andrew. Let's look at what Joe Barry was giving up real fast.
Oh, Joe Barry's gonna give up a lot because he played off coverage.
Yeah. Like let's just look at the
That's what I'm talking about. Like if you're gonna give up the yardage, at
Yeah.
least get the turnovers.
yeah, which he does.
Yeah, which Havlic's defense has been getting the turnovers.
Yeah, and one thing I will say, Andrew, yards don't win you the game, points do. So that's what I'm saying. If Hafley can just keep it under 20 points,
But yeah, that's true. But I especially in the first half, it felt like we barely touched the ball.
Yeah,
So the yards is still going to get you time of possession, which keeps your offense off the field. So that's what I'm like. We got to get off the field a lot more than.
Zach said any yards given over 50 is too many. I think he meant to put 500. I would agree. 500 is. I think 500 is a bad.
Wait,
I think that's
a lot.
Yeah, I think he
I
meant.
would say like closer to the 400 mark is still a lot too.
Yeah, I think 400 is still a lot. And then someone else said, "Yo, what's up with this weather delay? I'm trying to watch the game." I saw that. I think there's a weather.
Yeah, it's still the game still hasn't started. It's 8:00 here Central Time. The game still hasn't started.
Yeah, but I definitely wanted to hop off and catch some of that game too. But
yeah, well, we're gonna catch the whole game because it's not even on. So
right, Andrew, you got anything else, brother?
nah, that's all I got, man.
All right, guys, we'll probably come back live later on in the week after Monday Night Football to recap the week. Probably either Monday or Tuesday. We don't know. Just keep an eye out for that. But yeah, guys, that's it for this one. Thank you for everyone joining the recap. Zach said, nah, but for real, under 300 yards is where I'd like to be. Yeah, I think under 300 yards is a good game. I think that's a very good game.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 350 is where I like to be.
Yeah, I think you can win the game with 350 for sure.
350. But my thing, well, yeah, we'll talk about this later.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that. That's a good question. Like how much should a defense give up? Like that's.
We'll talk about this later.
But all right, guys, thank you for joining. We'll see y'all later on in the week. Thank y'all.